long time coming, but here it is. I am AceofSpadesFTW and welcome to my FullHouse manga anime review. And today we are taking a look at Kingdom Hearts, a manga which was adapted from a very popular video game. Everyone knows of the name Walt Disney, the animation studio which is responsible for some of children's most classic films such as The Lion King, The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. And many people know of the name Square Enix, the company which is responsible for creating the Final Fantasy series, known for its deep storylines and creative worlds. So, when both companies said they were working together on a game, I think a lot of people were pretty skeptical on what the hell they could produce together. And I think it's fair to say that most people thought that their idea would fail. However, they proved them wrong in 2002 when, in Japan, on March the 28th, Kingdom Hearts was released, and later that year in America in September the 17th. The game was so successful in both areas that the series had 2 sequels, a remix on all 3 games, and even as we speak there are still 3 new games being ready to be released. And of course, with this success it's only natural that the series was adapted into a manga, and this is the story we're going to look at today. The plot revolves around a character named Sora, a young boy who lives in a place called Destiny Islands. There he hangs out with his 2 best mates, Kari, a girl he's known since childhood, and Riku, a boy who he considers to be his rival. The 3, bored of island life, decide to build a raft and set sail away forever. But before they can depart, their island is attacked by strange black creatures. In the ensuing chaos, Sora gets in his possession a mysterious key, and in a battle against the black creatures is transported to another world. Meanwhile, on the other side of the universe, the ruler of Disney Castle, King Mickey, has gone missing, only leaving a message behind saying that he has left on important business, and has asked his most loyal subjects, the court magician Donald and the captain of the god Goofy, to go out in search of someone who holds a special key. Sure you know where this is going to go. All 3 characters end up in a place called Traverse Town, and it's here that Sora learns that the key that he holds is not just any key, but the Keyblade, a special weapon which is the ultimate defense against creatures called the Heartless, the same black creatures that attacked his world. Through a series of events, all 3 characters get together, and Donald and Goofy ask Sora to join them in their search for the king. Sora agrees, and he decides that he'll also try to find his 2 lost companions, Kari and Riku. The best way to describe the rest of the story is the biggest crossover ever. Sora, Donald and Goofy continue to travel from world to world, which are of course based on different Disney films. For instance, Atlantica on The Little Mermaid and Agrabah on the Aladdin film. While they're there, they try to search for their friends, but always seem to end up getting caught in the storyline of that particular film. Now, I could criticize the story for being unoriginal by using other plot lines from different films, but the Kingdom Hearts universe always seems to find a way to tie their element into it. For instance, the main villain always seems to be using the Heartless to pursue their own goals, and there's always a lot of large boss-like Heartless in many of the worlds. Most importantly, there's always a unique Kingdom Hearts storyline being knitted between all these worlds, which is most noticeable near the end of the storyline, and it does work well when you get the whole feel for it. Let's just take a look at characters. Of course, we have Sora. Now, the best way to describe Sora is your more stereotypical character you can find for a main story. The only difference is he doesn't have blonde, spiky hair. He has brown, spiky hair. He's a bit dense. He's got a good heart, and he always tries to do the best thing for his friends. Now, I'm not saying Sora's a bad character or anything, but I just feel like I've seen his personality so many times before. Now, I'm sure the characters of Donald and Goofy don't need any introduction, but considering the fact that they're in such a different environment from what they're used to, I think the creators did well to keep true to the actual characters. I mean, Donald's still obnoxious, loudmouthed, and he gets into a lot of fights with Sora, while Goofy is still chummy, a bit simple-minded, and yet strangely gives the best advice. Of course, they got a new makeover for the game, but they're still the same people inside, even if they are shooting magic and throwing shields at everyone. Going back to originality for a minute, One of the things I want to look at when I was reading this manga is how will two different parties look at this. One party being a newcomer to Kingdom Hearts and just perhaps buying a new manga for some reason, and the second would be fans of the games who bought the manga. Now, for both sides there are some positives and some negatives. Now, one of the things I was a bit disappointed with the manga is that it's significantly shorter than the game. Quite a few of the worlds are taken out, and only the bare essential story worlds are put in for plot purposes. For people just picking this up, this won't mean much to them, but for fans of the game, I think they'll be a bit disappointed that quite a few of their worlds were taken out, so they losing a bit out on that. But at the same time, I noticed that even though some worlds might be taken out, there are quite a few scenes that have been put in or changed that you don't find in the game. One of the first examples I remember was in Traverse Town when Sora meets Sid for the first time. In the game, he simply just meets Sid, but in the manga there's this comical scene where Sid's trying to vacuum up some Heartless with a special device he has. And it's these kind of extra scenes that they haven't seen before that fans always love, I know this especially. So even if you know what's going to happen and it's shorter, there's still something that could surprise you when reading it. Another thing I had to mention was, of course, the art style. I mean, when you take the graphical models and put them into a manga, you're not exactly sure what to expect, especially when you got a Japanese company and an American company working on the same thing. The answer to the question is kind of both. I mean, Sora came out quite okay. I mean, he still looks innocent yet dopey at the same time. But I was most impressed with Donald and Goofy, who look very well done in here. They still remind me of their original styles of when they came from the cartoons. Now, the drawings in this manga are very crisp and clean, very nice. And again, going back to, people who've played the game, even though it's the same story, you're seeing it from different angles, and it's this kind of thing that keeps it still a bit of a breath of fresh air. I think the biggest difference for me between the manga and the game was that the manga seems to put a lot more emphasis on comedy. I guess you could say the game didn't have time to, but it's just that, not just in quantity, but the manga seems to make it more cartoony style comedy. Stretched limbs, bulging eyes, stressed faces, and sweat drops, even some anime classics. And this was really nice to see because I do believe as the series progressed, it seemed to get more serious, if you know what I mean. Especially in Kingdom Hearts 2, the Disney aspects really lessened in that game, I think. So, see such, nice antics, I think it was a real nice change. I think I've said what needs to be said, so I think it's now time to sum up my thoughts on the Kingdom Hearts manga. The positives for Kingdom Hearts include its own unique plotline is interesting. The use of American and Japanese style art is nice to look at and keeps the characters true to themselves. And despite the fact that it's an adaptation, it still keeps things fresh for fans of the game. The negatives for Kingdom Hearts include slightly unoriginal from the editing and reuse of movie plots, and the adaptation seems too short for me. And for this, I'm going to give Kingdom Hearts a 7 out of 10. Not because it's badly done, but simply because I believe that the game would offer people more. And quite frankly, the game probably costs less than all 4 mangas now. But if you just don't play games altogether, or if you're looking for a short or cheap manga, then you can't go wrong with Kingdom Hearts. It's a good story, and it was certainly worth your money. Okay, as usual, I just want to say thanks for listening. If you have your own opinion about the manga compared to the game, feel free to leave a comment. And as usual, I just want to say thanks for listening. This is AceofSpadesFTW, ending my manga review on Kingdom Hearts. Till next time.